Alright guys, it has been such an extremely long day, but we finally got the mattresses and they're finally being loaded and being transported to the center, and we'll definitely do the handover later.
Been feeling trapped down on the floor, I don't know what for, feels like I'm gonna lose. Silence takes a hold, I can't let it go, chin up, no one knows, but I won't let the stormy.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking. If you haven't already subscribed, just hit that subscribe button down below and come join my family on YouTube. So guys, today I'm going to be talking about fueling your passion or following your passion. Now, a lot of times we're passionate about things, but we may think that we can't do it, or we don't have enough money to start it, or we just don't know how to go about doing it. So I'm going to be sharing my story about how I started something that I was very passionate about, and I do hope that it will encourage somebody to actually go ahead and go do whatever it is that they're passionate about. So one of the things that I am passionate about is mission, helping people, stuff like that. And let me just give you some background story on that. Now, I grew up Seventh-day Adventist, and if you're familiar with that church, with that denomination, then you know that every Sabbath there's something that's known as the Mission Spotlight or the Mission Story. And I would go to church and they would tell these stories of people who went to far away lands. I mean, these places sounded like really, really exotic, and they would be helping people, whether by building churches, building houses, medical missionary, whatever it was, but they were just always helping people, and I was just very intrigued by it. I was intrigued by the travel, of course, getting to those places, interacting with the people, the culture, and also helping. So when I finished uni, I didn't get a job at the same time, so I thought, since I wasn't working, then this would be time for me to explore my passion. So we have this arm, I would call it, called Maranatha, and that is like the missionary arm of the church. So basically they organize mission trips, and they have like 3 different categories. There's like a self-funded, there's like a half-funded, and there's like a fully paid. They'll actually pay the volunteers. Now, because I was working, I had signed up for like half funding. So I went on the site and I filled out all the forms and I sent in my application, and I never heard from them. I mean, not even to say, okay, we don't do this in your region, we don't offer these programs in your region or anything like that. I just never heard from them. So I didn't get discouraged. I was a bit, but not overly discouraged, right? So I went to the then youth director of my conference, and I asked him, do you know of any programs that actually take on people for missionary work, that I could apply to? That was also a dead end. So I kind of forgot about it for a while. But anyways, I moved to Japan. And I remember one of the things that I did say was that when I moved, I definitely wanted to get more involved in mission work. Like, I wanted to do something. I wanted to finally follow my passion and do what it is that I was really, really passionate about. So I moved to Japan, and in Japan, there wasn't much opportunity there for me to get anything done, in terms of missionary work. So I forgot about it. I forgot about it for a while. But then I took a trip to India. And when I got there, I spent a week, around 5 days in a very, very remote part of India. And when I got there, the guy who I was staying with, he and his family, they asked me to tell English stories to the children, right? So where he was, like, they had 2 mediums that they taught in Tamil. There was a Tamil medium school and there was an English medium school. A lot of these kids went to Tamil medium school, but they all wanted to learn English. So I went there and I went to a local school and I just told some stories in English. Then they had the people that I was staying with, they had a prayer room on top of their house. So every night for the 5 nights that I was there, the children would come out and they would come to this prayer room, and I would tell them Bible stories then in English, and I would teach them Christian songs in English, and they really, really did enjoy it. So that kind of, you know, with my appetite, kind of reminded me that, you know, this is what you're passionate about. You know, you're passionate about helping people, and people might think, oh, but this is a lot, you know, it's just teaching them, you know, it's just telling them stories in English or whatever. But if you go to these countries where they are so eager to actually learn the language, you will realize that what you thought as mundane or not necessary it's actually very, very important to them. That was my first experience. Then fast forward to 2017 December, and I went to Africa. Now, from, you know, way back in Jamaica, like, Africa had always been the ground that I actually wanted to do my mission work in. That was where I really wanted to be. And if any of you guys know me, you know that I'm all African. Like, I'm just about that culture and all that good stuff. So 2017, I went to I was preparing to go to Kenya, and I said, okay, now you're gonna do this mission. Now, a lot of people are thwarted by the idea that you know, it's going to take a lot of work, it's going to take a lot of money, you don't know anybody on the ground, and all those things. And I mean, I had all those doubts as well. So I got to thinking, I'm like, what resources do I have? You know, what resources do I have? What can I do with the little resources that I have? So the first thing I did was I went on Facebook. I was a part of a group called Adventist Worldwide, and I put a message in the group, and I said something like, is there anyone in this group who's from Kenya? Just reach out to me, something to that effect. And this particular lady reached out to me, and we were talking, and I told her what it was that I wanted to do, you know? And she said, okay, let me speak to my my elder, and then we'll get back to you. So she spoke to her elder, and he reached out, and when she came back to me, and she said that he said I should let my pastor write a letter to them. I guess they wanted to know that I was actually Adventist or whatever the case might be. I don't know. But anyways, I had my pastor in Japan write the letter, and he just never got back in touch with my pastor. And I'm asking her what's going on, you know, have you got an update for them or whatever? And they just never responded. So anyways, another lady had actually responded to me. So I reached out to her then, and I mean, like, quick, like in no time at all, I was in touch with the elder. She had given me a response and all that good stuff, and things were going on. I mean, and I think it was like providence, because with her, the second lady, her church was actually right beside a rehabilitation center, boys rehabilitation center, and they had been working with that center. So it was just so natural then for, you know, it was like a natural process. It wasn't very hard to plan. No, all I had planned on doing was like doing like a Christmas treat for them, right? I hadn't planned on doing anything much, just anything else, a Christmas treat. Now, before, when I decided that I was going to do the mission, I had started collecting clothing items from people, buying clothes, you know, and stuff like that. Now, I had collected a lot of girls' clothing items, but it was a boys' rehabilitation center. I still had the clothes, and I still took them with me. Now, I'm telling you that God works in such like mysterious ways, and just to say this, whenever you're passionate about something, don't hesitate to start, because I find that if your heart is in the right place, that He will open up doors for you, and things will just, you know, will just go like clockwork. So when I told my Japanese church family that I was going, you know, and I planned on doing this, there was this, I wanted to do something more. For Kenya, their school year runs from January to December, that's their school year, and I was going in December, so I was thinking, okay, what if I could do like a school drive? But I wasn't asking anybody for assistance. All that I was going to do was the treats and all that stuff, buying the clothes, you know, pay my fare, accommodation, all that was coming out of pocket, right? So anyways, I told my Japanese family that I was going, and this lady, she wasn't at church this Sabbath, but then when I went to church, my friend Shay gave me an envelope and said that somebody gave me this to give to you. And when I opened it, it was, I want to say it was 200 US. And with that, I was able to get like all the school supplies and some additional toiletries and all the stuff that I needed, right? So I was very, very, very happy. And at that point, we were catering for like 150 boys, right? And each of them got like 2 books. They got pens, pencils, geometry sets. They got rolled deodorants, tissue, toothpaste, toothbrush, soap, washing soap, and bathing soap. I mean, they got everything. A nice package. Each of them, each 150 of them got like a really nice package, along with their meal and all that good stuff. Anyway, so I got there, and when I went there, I saw that they were living in one big room, and that room also doubled as their recreation center and classrooms and all that good stuff. So there were, as I said, 150 boys, and there were literally, say, 12 bunk beds. That means only 24 kids were actually sleeping on a bed. And when I sat on the mattress, it was as if you were sitting on the wire or the board of the bunk. I'm like, this is no way for people to be living. So I'm like, okay, this is my next project. I need to get them their mattresses, right? Their mattresses. Okay, however you pronounce the word, because people laugh at me all the time for how I pronounce it. I'm like, okay, I think I did some research, and I asked them to do some research, and each mattress was gonna cost, I want to say it was 27 USD. So I needed 130 of them. So that would have been 130 times 27. That would be like 3,510 US dollars. I don't have 3,500. I did not have 3,510 US dollars to give to that cause. But I'm like, okay, I really, really, really do want the boys to get this. I really do want them to get this. So I came back. I'm like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? So first, I spoke to my church family, and I started asking for donations. I had taken pictures and videos, and I just kept on showing to my friends and family members, guys, do you want to give to this cause, whatever. And people don't really want to give to these causes, and that's okay. I mean, that's fair, because you hear all these stories about people taking money for mission projects or for charity, and then they use it on themselves, and it is a legitimate cause for concern, right? So of course, some people I approached, some persons weren't interested, but thankfully most of the people were interested, right? So now it's coming down to the nitty-gritty, right? So I got back in January, and I was going back to Kenya in April, right? So now it's coming down, and we still I don't have all that I need. So I'm on Facebook, I'm doing a countdown on Facebook, I'm enlisting people from all over. No, I don't know anything about PayPal, trust me. Like, if you know me, I am just like, I'm just a wire transfer girl. Like, I had no idea about PayPal or anything like that. So my friend Rodney, he set up a PayPal account for me, and I mean, he was asking the other ALTs where he was, if they wanted to contribute. I was asking people, and people basically were contributing to this cause. And I mean, eventually we got enough money that we're actually able to get, I want to say, 170 mattresses instead of the 130, and this was needed because the boys had actually been moved from that center. They had started using it as like a community center for them to learn trade and stuff, and they had moved them to another center, right, that was bigger, and they had taken on more boys, so there was actually a need for more mattresses, so that came in very handy. On that same trip, I went to this home, which is the home that I currently work with most now, called Motherly Care Children's Home. If you remember, I had said that when I had originally gone to, or thought of going to Kenya in December 2017, I was collecting clothing items, but those clothing items were mostly for girls. And I had ended up going to a boys' rehab center. So my Kenyan mom had actually found a children's home, and she had taken the clothing items there, right? I hadn't met the people, the kids at this home, or the people running this home as yet. So when I went in April, I actually went there. I brought some more clothing items, and I also went shopping for like food and toiletries and all of that stuff. So when I went there, I had to go use the toilets. No, I went, thank God for camping. I went there and I had to go use the toilets, and when I went to use the bathroom, I was met with a hole, I kid you not, a literal hole in the ground, right? Like camp style setting, I was met with a hole in the ground. And there were 5 girls who like literally stood outside and watched me pee. Luckily, I have no shame tree like that. Like, you know, I'm not like squeamish like that from my camping experience. Like, I really don't mind. So they just stood there and watched me pee in that hole in the ground. I'm like, nah, you cannot have, I want to say it was around 80 girls using this bathroom, this toilet. And imagine, you know, when you're seeing your period, you know, you're menstruating, and it can be so uncomfortable. You just want to be somewhere comfortable. And then I looked across, and the shower was just like, it was just so moldy, and like, even though I'm not like bougie or anything like that, like I could see myself using that. So I'm like, okay, this is definitely going to be my next project. I don't know where the money is coming from, but it's going to get done. I came back to Japan at the end of April, and I was going to be leaving Japan July 1. I was finished with my program, I was ready to leave, and I was going to be leaving July 1. So I'm like, I don't have that much time. You know, I basically have May and June to get this off board. So I got a quotation from, they contacted their contractor, and they got a quotation for the cost, you know, for material, workmanship, and all that good stuff. So they sent it to me, and I'm like, okay, so this is what we're working with. Now I'm telling you that God is so good. Like when I made the announcement at church, I was talking to like a group of my friends, and one girl, Stephanie, she's like, okay, I'm gonna give you 500 US towards this. And I'm like, thank you. I'm like, I haven't even started campaigning as yet, and you have already given me 500 US. I'm like, okay. That's awesome. That's really, really awesome. I'm like, what can I do to raise this money in, you know, relatively quickly? So I'm like, okay, let's have a dinner. And let me do Jamaican food, because that's something that people aren't familiar with. Like, people are going to come eat Japanese food because they're Japanese. They're not going to come to eat American food because, I mean, like, there's so many American restaurants, fast food chains and stuff there that they're familiar with, but they aren't familiar with Jamaican food. So, of course, I'm the only Jamaican there here. So, you know, the cooking was left on me, and I mean, like, I was aiming for at least 100 people. No, I'm not used to the big pot cooking at all. But my church members were so helpful. They came out, and they were there like from early in the morning, and I mean, like, people were just helping. Like, I had people who they couldn't sell the tickets on base, you know, because of, you know, whatever restrictions they had, but they were people who were telling people about this, and people came over, and even people just donated the money without even collecting the food. And I mean, we were able to raise the money and actually raise extra. So I was not going back to Kenya before going home. So I actually sent the money there for them to get the bathroom done. There are other things that that we did, and sometimes, you know, you might think, okay, then it has to be something tangible, you know, it has to be money or it has to be gifts. It doesn't have to be. Like another thing that we did while I was in Japan is a hug ministry. There was one Sabbath after church, and this was something I was really passionate about. Like, if you know me, you know that I'm a hugger. Like I'll just hug people. Like, that's just me. And one Sabbath after church, we went out into the Ginza, the arcade in Sasebo, and we just walked around as a church, and we just walked around and we stopped people and we just asked them if they want a hug. And I mean, if you know Japanese people, they're not very physical, they're not into contact that much, but I can tell you from experience, a lot of them are very lonely, right? But just because of their culture, they're not they don't show it, right? But a lot of them really needed that hug. So anyways, we went, and you'd be surprised, people were very appreciative of it, and people actually came back for seconds, you know, like actually came for second hugs and stuff like that. And some people actually had, you know, shed some tears because a lot of them just haven't had any human contact for years, months, so, you know, whatever it is, and they were just really appreciative of it. So it doesn't have to cost money. It doesn't have to cost money. Like, just be if you're willing to think out of the box, if you're willing to just be creative, you'll be surprised the things that you can actually do to just spread light and love in the world. So back to Kenya. So they got their bathrooms. That too was a little bit of story, but that's a story for another time. We went back in December 2018. Me and some of my colleagues from Qatar, my friend Esther and her sister came as well, and we had a Christmas party for them. We gave them clothing items, and again we came in with some stationery and toiletries and like food for maybe like 2 months, you know, for them to cook on whatever the case might be. So it was really, really, you know, it was a pretty good initiative. Then too, in January they contacted me about helping some students get in school. Apparently they hadn't performed that well, or as well as they were expecting them to in their exam. There's a state exam or countrywide exam they do in November. They hadn't performed that well, so they were trying to get them out into private secondary schools, and they wanted assistance with school fees. So again, I went to begging, sponsored one, and went to begging, you know, went to go begging for the others, and were able to, I think, assist 5 of them, you know. So that was another thing. And yeah, and we've also helped a mother with her own 3 children. She's a hairdresser, and she really wasn't making any money working for people, so she wanted to start her own hairdressing salon, and you know, we assisted her with that $200 US to actually start up her you know, her little business. And the thing is, when you go to these countries, you might find like because the bathrooms, I think the code that I got was like 1950 or something like that. Now 1950 for the bathroom, for what we're going to do to the bathroom. And like, if you were to think of the States or the Caribbean, Jamaica, that would not have gone anywhere at all. So a lot of these times when you go to these countries, like, your money goes a lot further and you can actually do more. So don't think it's just me and I can't do anything, but just follow your passion. Allow your passion to lead you, and once your heart is in the right place, and once you trust in God, then there isn't anything that you cannot do. And this isn't just for mission, it's for anything. It's for starting your business, it's for, you know, your YouTube channel, it's for just anything that you're basically passionate about. Just pray about it and start. Don't think about what you don't have or what you think you cannot do, but start with what you have and what you know that you can do, and just allow your passion to guide you. And you just be surprised to see how doors just keep on opening, and how different opportunities just come, you know, just how many different opportunities will arise. So alright, so that's me, enough rambling, and I do hope you learned something from this. And the one takeaway that I do want you to get from this is just follow your passion, let it lead you, and just start. And I live by this mantra: if you can afford to travel, you can afford to help someone. Don't just go and say, oh, I didn't know that Africa was this beautiful. I didn't know, and you know, you find all sorts of flaws with this and that, and why is it that they're not this or that? Do the little that you can to help your brothers and sisters in need. Okay? So again, that's all I have for today, and I'll see you again in my next vlog. Again, guys, do not forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. And you know, who to tell, the money that I make from this channel might very well be going into a mission project near you.